Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Of course.
Always Bitcoin.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And specifically, we're looking at some predictions for Q1 2025.
Right. Beginning of the year, everybody wants to know.
Yeah. So picture this. It's early 2025.
Okay.
The crypto markets are buzzing.
As always.
You're ready to make your move. But question is,
Which way to go?
yeah,
Yeah.
is Bitcoin going to skyrocket? Or are we in for a bit of a bumpy ride?
That's the million-dollar question.
To help us try to figure all this out, we've got a Cointelegraph article.
Yeah. Always good for some spicy takes.
And this one features predictions from crypto analyst Pav Hundal.
All right, Pav.
So this article, it kind of throws us right into the ring.
Okay.
Because it starts with a recap of Bitcoin's crazy ride, especially after the 2024 U.S. election.
Oh, right.
Apparently, Trump's win sent Bitcoin soaring, like way past previous all-time highs.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of uncertainty leading up to the election, and I guess the market liked what it saw.
So the article mentions some pretty eye-popping numbers.
Lay it on me.
Bitcoin blew past its old record of $73,679.
Wow.
And even touched a mind-boggling $100,000 by December 5th, 2024.
Okay, so we're talking serious gains.
Absolutely. And that volatility, it's not just ancient history.
Right.
We're seeing echoes of that right now in early 2025.
Yeah, things are heating up again.
That definitely makes you wonder, are we about to see another one of those massive surges?
And what does our friend Pav think?
Well, Hundal seems to think so.
Okay.
He's predicting that Bitcoin will hit fresh highs by the end of Q1 2025.
Bold prediction.
Yeah, it's a pretty bold statement. And he even goes so far as to say it's becoming a tough time to be a Bitcoin bear.
Ooh, someone betting on a price drop.
Exactly.
So what's the reasoning there?
So his reasoning is rooted in what he calls the most accommodative era of policymaking in the history of crypto.
Whoa, hold on. Most accommodative? What does that even mean?
Basically, he's arguing that the overall policy environment is becoming much friendlier to cryptocurrency.
So like less regulation.
Well, maybe not less regulation, but clearer tax guidelines in some countries.
Okay.
More of an open-minded stance from certain central banks.
So it's not just talk. They're actually starting to make some moves.
Yeah, and these aren't just empty words. These are tangible shifts that could really create a much more supportive backdrop for crypto to thrive.
Yeah, if governments are on board, that could be huge.
It could be huge. And, it gives you something to think about.
It does.
So we've got this bullish outlook based on positive policy changes.
Okay.
But, our deep dives are all about exploring multiple perspectives.
You gotta stay balanced.
So did the article mention any other forecasts for Bitcoin in Q1?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It wouldn't be a balanced analysis without hearing from the other side,
Right.
Not everyone shares Hundal's, unwavering optimism.
Okay, so who's got a different take?
Well, for example, we've got Van Eck predicting that Bitcoin will peak in Q1, but then go on to reach even higher highs later in 2025.
So buckle up. There might be some short-term dips, but the long-term trajectory is still upwards.
Exactly.
Okay, so a little more cautious, but still bullish overall.
Yep.
So did anybody throw a real curveball into the mix? Anybody really disagree?
Well, Arthur Hayes,
Yeah, I know that name.
co-founder of BitMEX, he kind of throws a little bit of cold water on the party.
Oh, no, what'd he say?
He suggests that we could see a pullback to the $75,000 range.
Okay.
And even warns that this could trigger a mini financial crisis.
Whoa, mini financial crisis. That sounds pretty intense.
Yeah, a little bit different from Hundal's, sunny predictions.
So why does he think that could happen?
Well, he doesn't really get into specifics in this article.
Okay.
But, it is interesting to think about what could cause such a dramatic shift.
Yeah.
Maybe he's anticipating some unforeseen regulatory change. Or maybe he just thinks the current market sentiment is a little overly inflated and due for a reality check.
Yeah, that's definitely a point worth thinking about.
It is.
Okay, so we've got these conflicting forecasts swirling around.
Right.
Which could leave anyone feeling a bit dizzy.
Yeah.
But then the article mentions this really interesting observation from Hundal about a mismatch.
Oh, a mismatch. What's that?
He sees all these positive macro conditions, right?
Okay, yeah.
But investor sentiment seems a bit hesitant.
I see. So it's like people are still a bit skittish, even though things seem to be lining up for Bitcoin.
That's a fascinating point.
It is.
Why are investors jumping all over this seemingly golden opportunity?
Right.
It makes you wonder if maybe they're still haunted by memories of past market crashes, or that they're just waiting for like even more concrete signals before they fully jump on board.
It really does highlight that psychological aspect of the market, which is always so intriguing.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder, what would you say to someone who's hearing all this and wondering, okay, so what am I supposed to do with this information?
Well, that's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's one that we'll dig into a little bit deeper as we go.
Okay.
But for now, I think the key takeaway is this. Bitcoin's price is poised for some serious action in Q1 2025.
Okay.
But there's no clear consensus on exactly which way it will go.
So buckle up. It sounds like it's going to be a wild ride.
Oh, yeah.
But before we dive into what this all means for our listeners, let's take a quick break and we'll come back to explore how to navigate this unpredictable landscape.
Sounds good. Yeah, it really does make you think, why aren't investors going all in if things are so good?
Well, like we were saying before the break, there seems to be this tension between the underlying strength of the crypto market,
Right.
fueled by, these positive policy changes. But then on the other side, we've got this lingering hesitancy from some investors.
It's like a tug of war, between fear and greed.
Exactly. And that's what makes the current situation so interesting.
Right.
Because if Hundel is right, and this, most accommodative era for crypto is really happening,
Yeah.
then this hesitancy could be like a huge opportunity for smart investors.
The ones who can see past the fear and recognize the potential upside.
That makes sense. But let's play devil's advocate for a minute.
Okay, I like it.
What could potentially derail this Bitcoin train in Q1 2025? Like, what should investors be watching out for?
Well, unforeseen regulatory crackdowns are always a possibility.
Oh, right.
Governments are still figuring out how to approach crypto.
Yeah, it's the Wild West out there.
And any sudden negative policy changes could really send shockwaves through the market.
And it's not just about governments, right? Like, influential people in traditional finance can also spook investors.
Absolutely.
Just with, some negative comments about crypto.
Yeah, sentiment can be a powerful force in the market.
Right. A few well-placed comments from like a high-profile person, especially someone who's seen as a financial authority, that can really impact investor confidence.
Especially those who are already a little bit on the fence.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got regulatory risks and the potential for, negative sentiment to weigh things down.
Okay.
What other factors should we be considering?
Well, we also need to consider the health of the global economy.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Bitcoin doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Exactly. It's influenced by, broader economic trends.
Of course.
A sudden economic downturn or a major geopolitical event could create what's called a risk-off environment.
Risk off.
Yeah. Basically, it means investors are getting scared and moving their money to assets that are seen as less risky.
Oh, okay. Like gold or government bonds.
Exactly.
So it's like we're trying to solve this puzzle with all these different pieces that keep moving.
Right.
The policy landscape, investor sentiment, the global economy.
Yep.
It can feel kind of overwhelming.
It's true. It's what makes navigating the crypto market so challenging, but also potentially rewarding.
Right.
It's not for the faint of heart.
For sure.
But, for those who stay informed, manage their risk, and make well-considered decisions, there's a real opportunity to capitalize on the volatility.
Yeah. You got to be smart about it.
Absolutely.
So let's bring it back to our listener who's maybe thinking about making some crypto moves in early 2025.
Okay.
What key takeaways should they keep in mind as they're, weighing their options?
Well, I think the first thing is understanding that the crypto market is inherently volatile.
Right.
Prices can swing wildly in both directions, so it's really crucial to have a clear investment strategy and to know your risk tolerance.
It's easy to get swept up in the hype, especially when you see those headlines about Bitcoin hitting new highs.
Oh, yeah. FOMO is a real thing.
But it's so important to stay grounded and remember that there are always risks involved, no matter how positive the predictions might sound.
Couldn't agree more. And along those lines, don't let that fear of missing out drive your decisions.
Yeah. Do your research, understand the fundamentals, and make informed choices.
Exactly. Don't just blindly follow the crowd or chase trends.
So be smart, be strategic, and don't let your emotions take over.
Solid advice for any type of investment, really.
Well, that's true.
But the fast-paced, often hype-driven nature of the crypto market just amplifies those principles.
Okay, so be level-headed, do your homework, and don't get caught up in the frenzy.
Yep.
What else?
Stay informed. The crypto landscape is constantly changing.
Right.
New technologies are emerging, regulations are being debated. Market sentiment can shift really quickly.
No, for sure.
Make it a habit to stay up to date on the latest developments and be prepared to adapt your strategy as needed.
So stay informed, stay adaptable, and try not to panic, even if things get a little bumpy.
That's the key.
It sounds like long-term thinking is really important when it comes to investing in something as dynamic as Bitcoin.
Absolutely. It's easy to get fixated on those short-term price fluctuations, but, zooming out and considering the bigger picture is essential.
Right. We've been focusing on Q1 2025,
Yeah.
but this is just a snapshot in time.
Exactly. Bitcoin's journey is far from over.
And this technology has the potential to really reshape the financial landscape in some big ways.
Yeah, and I think it's important to think about Bitcoin's core value proposition.
Which is?
It's a decentralized digital currency that operates independently of governments and central banks.
Wow.
That's a powerful concept that has the potential to really disrupt traditional financial systems.
So even if some of the price predictions we've discussed don't pan out exactly as forecast, the underlying technology and the ideas behind it are likely to continue to evolve.
For sure. This is about much more than just trying to time the market or make a quick buck.
Yeah, it's about being part of something bigger.
Exactly. It's about being part of a technological revolution that has the potential to change the world as we know it.
Wow. That's a pretty inspiring thought.
It is. And speaking of inspiring thoughts, here's one final point to ponder.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about the potential risks and rewards of investing in Bitcoin. But what about the broader societal implications of this technology?
Like, what do you mean?
How might widespread adoption of cryptocurrencies impact things like financial inclusion, privacy, even the balance of power between individuals and institutions?
Wow.
These are big questions with no easy answers, but they're worth considering as we navigate this exciting new frontier.
Those are definitely some thought-provoking questions.
They are.
It sounds like we're just scratching the surface of what this technology could mean for the future.
We are.
And on that note, it seems like Bitcoin's price in Q1 2025 is really anybody's guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've got Hundel betting on new all-time highs.
Right.
Van Eck seeing a peak followed by even bigger gains later on.
Right.
And then Hayes warning of a potential pullback that could shake things up.
It's a lot to take in.
It is, but here's the thing. Even with all these different predictions, there's one common thread.
What's that?
They all agree that Bitcoin is going to be a major player in the financial landscape going forward.
So the question isn't if it will matter, it's how it will matter.
Exactly. And that brings our deep dive full circle right back to you, dear listener.
Right, back to you.
Knowing that Bitcoin is poised for some serious action and that market sentiment can sometimes lag behind the reality of the situation, how might you use this insight to your advantage?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is. Are you going to be swept up by the FOMO?
Oh, the fear of missing out.
Or will you take a step back, do your own research, and make calculated decisions based on your understanding of the market and your own financial goals?
This isn't about following the crowd.
Nope.
It's about making informed choices that align with your own individual circumstances.
Exactly. Remember, knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
The more you understand about the forces driving the crypto market, the better equipped you'll be to navigate its twists and turns.
So there you have it, folks. Bitcoin in Q1 2025. A potential roller coaster of volatility opportunity and a whole lot of unknowns.
But one thing's for sure, it's going to be a fascinating ride.
It is.
Stay informed, stay curious, and most importantly, enjoy the journey.
Great advice. And that concludes our deep dive into Bitcoin predictions for Q1 2025.
Hope you enjoyed it.
We hope you found this exploration insightful, maybe even a little bit thrilling.
A little adrenaline rush.
Until next time, happy investing.